Those are neat.
Oh, those are dinosaurs. I thought they were snakes.
Dinosaurs.
Look with your eyes.
Should we get one of these and hide them in the creek down there next time we go to the creek with Joe?
So he can find it.
There's Say, bud, you didn't bring me any flowers, did you?
They supposed to have mailed you flowers.
No, I didn't get nothing yet. I could have used them. Let's see you guys. You're getting all ready?
Where's the other guy? Yeah. East and west, y'all.
Nah, he's set up over there now. Yeah, you know, I had a big fall year. My son's here, Cody. He's gonna be.
Should I look in the
Look in there! Look! Look! Open it again. Open it again. Why is
it on the pine pitch and the charcoal, more or less 50-50. I don't, if you put too much charcoal in it, it'll have a tendency to be grainy on you. One of the most important things I can tell folks is make sure your pine pitch is that all you're doing is heating it. If you're collecting sap from the side of the tree, what you'll find is it's
Beautiful, aren't they?
real on you really quickly.
And big old conch shell used for tomahawk there.
So
Showing 4 different time periods
Yeah.
leading up to your Mississippi. So on the far side, that would be Paleo Indian, which in Paleo time they did have what the people around here call in a Muskogean language would have been Yanessa.
Yeah.
Which means, of course, the buffalo. Eastern buffalo, they're now extinct. But they did have buffalo here one time. By the end of archaic time period, they had been killed into extinction. Also climate change, land masses getting smaller, vegetation. Everybody was fighting for food in that time. All your large animals like your mammoths, your giant cave bears, and your saber-toothed tigers, they actually face that extinction as well. So on this side would represent that. A very simple shelter would have been made. Hand tools are being used. Man discovered breaking stones and making them sharp. They make very good tools. So these are original hand tools that are on this raccoon right here. Weapons for hunting would have been stabbing spears. So we have a couple of different types. Just a wood stick with a point carved onto the end of it. Bone. This is actually bone from the leg of the buffalo. I use a hide glue, cooking the glue down or the hide down. I can make glue out of that. Same thing with the hoofs and the horn, and then using the tendon from the animal to tie it all together. Eventually, the stones came into effect, like the stone point that you see right here. The plaques that we have are original artifacts, and that plaque right there would basically show you the whole evolution of the weapon, going from Paleo time period. So my oldest weapons would actually be this one right here. That would be a stabbing spear, goes back over 10,000 years. Eventually going from stabbing to being able to throw them. Of course, I believe the way that it happened was that man was getting chased. And believe me, when you get chased by an animal, you're going to change your method of hunting. Now, this time when man ran, he took the spear and he threw it. So when they started throwing them, now instead of carrying maybe one spear with them or two, now they can carry a bunch of them. They're making them smaller, like this row right here. These here are originals. The one that's on the end of this shaft right here is also an original, about 6,000 years old. And believe me, it's sharp enough I can still use it.
Oh yeah.
What I'm using here is a river cane, in the same family as bamboo. Bamboo would be from another country. River cane, you can find that around here, a lot of it around here. Where I do a lot of my work is down in Florida, and you're not going to find a whole bunch of it. If it is, it's on private land, and I can't outrun a 12 gauge, so you know we have to ask permission for that. So now you can carry a bunch of them. Once again, using a bone as well as using stone. So carry a bunch of them. Work as a group now, maybe 5 or 6 of us. Take one, throw it. Grab another one, throw that one. Grab another one, throw that one. Now you're circling the animal. They have depictions of that actually right here inside the museum. So now your stones are getting different. Man is getting a little bit better at breaking stones. And like I tell people, they think that when they pick a stone up, it's going to be just perfect, you know. And that's not the case, because your original ones, man's very new at breaking stones. And so that one right there being original, you could tell. You know, it didn't matter what it looked like, it was if it were functional. And that was definitely functional. I could, if I wanted to, I could nap a point on that again, and I could use it just like any of the points that are on there. So now throwing spears came into effect. We're going into a archaic time period, and eventually going through into your woodland time period. So in the woodland time period, now you have lots of time to modify tools and to evolve with that tool, trial and error. Basically what it came down to is this right here. So now we have a nice thin shaft. Now there's feathers being put on the end, probably from watching the birds. You watch a bird, his tail keeps him on point. So now let's put some feathers on the end of that shaft and let's see what happens. Well, it worked. So now when they were able to throw that, it stayed true to its path. Something else that they did was they wanted to be able to take the animal down but not carry a bunch of spears, depending on where you're going. Now if you're looking at this in a paleo or archaic or even woodland time period, it's very thick. You can see that. The only trails were animal trails, or trails that you might have busted through yourself. So if I'm carrying a bunch of spears, I'm going to rustle trees. The bushes are going to shake, you know, and then we're going to become what our people call a vegetarian. Which means bad hunter, right? So now they had to devise a method of being able to carry maybe 1 or 2 shafts, but carry a bunch of points. And so this is what they came up with. These here are all different points that are now being socketed onto the ends, just like this. And this was a method not just used here, it was used all around the world. Well, it makes you wonder, where did the knowledge come from here and go over there, or from there come over here? Either way, it was survival, and we had to adapt and learn. So now notches are put on the ends. Stabbing spears were made to go in and pull out, go in and pull out. These now with the notches like a fish hook. Once it goes in, it stays in. So now if you look at the plaque, especially right here on the top, you can see that one right there.
Yeah.
With the notches on it. Now they're getting smart. So the idea of hunting with this would be to throw it at the animal. It hits him, digs in deep because that's very sharp. Point now made to stay in, not to shaft. As the animal runs, and we want it to run. We want it to get tired, bleed for a while, and become weak. This will wiggle loose and it'll land on the ground. So now all I have to do is follow that trail of blood through the woods, reach into my pouch where I have a whole bunch of these points now. I can socket another one on there, and I'm able to hit him over and over again. So man's getting smarter and smarter as time went on, and they're getting better and better at refining the skill of breaking stones or flint knapping. Now, if that wasn't dangerous enough, getting pretty close to that animal, man was going to get chased again. Now when he got chased, he started thinking again, well, I need to make something to make this a little bit more dangerous and a little more powerful. And this is what they came up with. It got to be known as an atlatl, an extension of my arm. This is a very simple one. I made this when I was really young. I actually put the bow in there myself because I wanted to have room between the stick and actually the atlatl. So what I did was you put a little hook on the end of it just like that. Now by just using that stick, I have more energy and more power behind it. So if I take a stick, you hear it whistle. Now take all that energy from that whistle on the end of the stick and put a spear on the end of it. That'll give you an idea. If I throw this by hand, I can hit that tree over there. On a good day using this, I can hit the museum. So if I waft it good, the wind direction's just right, I could really make it soar. So now with greater speed, greater accuracy at a short distance, man, they were very, very deadly. Now this went from the woodland time period clear into the Mississippian time period. Now they were still evolving, and everybody has their idea of how things evolved. And I think it had to do with evolving your atlatl itself. This one right here has a stone on it. Banner stones are now being made. With more weight, you have more speed, and then you have more accuracy. So this is using a soapstone. I have soapstone. I'm using a hide glue, glued it all together, using the tendon from the animal, which is on the row that I have right here. Using that, wet it down, I'm able to take it, wrap it all around there, and it's gonna hold really nice. But in doing research on these, I found out that they began to carve them thin. When they carved them thin, they had flexibility. When you have flexibility, even more energy is put into that. But when they started to bend wood, that's when the next concept for the next weapon came into effect. Now, here's the way I believe it happened. I believe that what they did was what I did with this one. I wanted to bend in it. So what I did was I cut it from the tree, and this is a piece of cedar, while it was still wet. I bent it and tied a string from one end to another. I put it in a tree and let it sit there for about a week. A week later, I pulled it down, cut the string off, and it stayed just like that. And it's been like that ever since. So I believe that that hunter way back in that time period, in that woodland time period, was making one just like this. And it only means one thing. He was real smart. And of course, I made one like that too. So, but anyway, so now I believe he did that. A young hunter came along, and he wanted to play with it, something he never seen before. So he took it down, he started playing with it. Maybe he picked up a stick and put it on there, and when he pulled it back, his finger slipped and that stick went flying. Well, it amazed him, but when he went and showed his father, it amazed him even more, because he has a hunter's mentality, always thinking he has to provide for that family. So he thought to himself, now what if I were to take that shaft and put it on that string? Let's see what happens. Of course, nothing happened. Why? The bow was too small. The arrow was too big, right? But eventually, with trial and error, once again, the bow and arrow was made. So this one here is made out of hickory. Hickory is very tough wood. Actually I'm Mohawk on my mom's side. I'm Comanche on my father's side. So the Mohawks would use the hickory. Your Comanches would use Osage. But the woods, any material that's available, that's what you're going to use. So this here is made out of hickory. Camouflage is also being used on the tip of that atlatl right there, or the dart, is a pygmy rattlesnake. When I do programs all over the country, I like to utilize, if I kill a snake, I'm going to eat it, plus I'm going to use the skin. My idea of using the skin is to show people, this here is what a copperhead looks like. If you see that design, run. Get away from it, because they're pretty vicious. They're aggressive, same as your pygmy rattlesnake.
Yeah, they're little nasty ones.
Exactly. So now on the bottom side, I'm waiting to find myself a little moccasin, and I'll put that one on there too. So now I have different areas of educating. So now camouflage, best camouflage you can find. I have another bow that's Eastern Diamondback, and that one covers the whole bow. Because around here, they're pretty big. Right now, they're on the move as well.
Yeah.
So I told them if I find one, you know, it'll be on my raw, put it that way. I'm gonna be eating that thing. But so now the bow came into effect. This here is about a 55-pound pull, and so now the arrows, the shafts start to get smaller. And here's my quiver. Of course, my quiver is alligator. They actually do have an alligator right down in here. I'm also representing tribes that are even more south of here. Tocobaga, Ayes, Calusa, Apalachee, Tequesta. We're talking about going down into the Florida area. Alligator was a part of their everyday life, and sure it was around here as well. Hunting that, they call it alapata. Alapata means breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It actually means alligator. If it's a big alligator, alapata chobi. And that would be in a Muskogean language, okay? So now using that alligator hide for the sheath, my arrows now are getting smaller. Your points are now being hafted right to the ends. At first being socketed, now they're just setting them right on. Once again, using the tendon from the animal and the hide glue to glue that all together. Eventually making them so that they would spin through the air. With that spin, you had greater speed, greater accuracy. Later on, when they started to modify the guns, one time smoothbore. Now putting that spiral inside the barrel called rifling, now you had pinpoint accuracy with your gun, and thus rifling that came from the concept of the native arrow here. Methods of hunting, getting close to that animal. 100-yard shot's impressive, but we wanted to get as close as I am to that brown canvas there. Disguise myself, I'm working on it right now. I have a deer hide, and I cut the rack out, took it all down, tanned the leather. It's still got the ears on it, the nose, the face is still on it. So what I'll do is I'll make a cloak. I'll put the rack back on there. Of course, I think I'm going to put a bigger one on there. Yeah. It's my story, right? So I'll do that. All I have to do is disguise myself, put the glands all over my body. That way I smell like a deer. Best way to get out of the house. It still works, y'all. That's right. I start rubbing glands on me. She's like, get out. That's right. It still works, right? So I smell like a deer. I look like a deer. I'm able to bend over with my bow, get as close as I want to. When I see my shot, stand up, and it's a quick release. Boom. Take the animal out with one arrow. When we shot the animal, we would say a hunter's prayer as a way of respect and honoring that animal. It was our respect and relationship with the earth and everything on it that made it possible for us to survive. And we still can. Without modern day conveniences, the earth provides everything. Every tree has a medicinal quality to it. A lot of the vegetation that you're walking on is also edible. This young boy was talking to my girl over there about eating bugs. Yeah, bugs, yeah, I eat them. She won't, but I'll eat them, you know, in a survival situation, or well, for her survival situation. For me, opportunity, you know, I'll eat anything before it eats me. So it was with the relationship that we were able to survive. We didn't want any animals to suffer, so one shot was the way that we would do that. So now, larger animals being shot with your bow. Another weapon that was used a lot around here, all the way up amongst your eastern woodland tribes, my mother's people being Mohawk or northeastern woodland, we use a blowgun. Once again, used in the river cane. Taking hot coals and putting them down. Also have a hand drill, which is right over there. A smaller reed that has a stone point on it. On that plaque right there are all drill points. So I'll be able to take the stone, put it on the end of there, put it inside here, and spin it like this. Be able to drill all the way down, spin it around, able to drill that. Throw some hot coals in there, roll them around, makes it nice and smooth on the inside. My darts are also made out of river cane, and the flights are made out of a thistle. So the thistle is in there so that when I put it inside, it covers the hole. So that when I blow through it, all the energy is put behind that dart itself. Now, we didn't use poison. Poison was not used on the darts. It was precise shots. We'd hit the animal in the spinal cord. It would paralyze them. Get up there with your noggin knocker, take care of business, right? So, although some of your tribes did use poison on their arrow point. Well, let me see. Shoot that bear right in the head. A little bit south on them, but you get the idea. A couple different sizes. This one is mine right here. And because the women also did hunting, they would have small ones too. Squirrels, frogs, snakes, raccoon, skunk, possum. Matter of fact, he's a raccoon bone right here. And if you ever had raccoon?
No.
Raccoon kind of tastes like a possum. You ever have possum? No, maybe like a skunk. I think kind of like a pulled pork. If you like pork, yeah, it's kind of like a pulled pork, you know. It was really, really good. She won't eat it, but boy, I know his grandfather. She'll cook anything I kill, but she won't eat everything, you know. But me, I'll eat anything before it eats me, you know. And that's just the way I was brought up, you know. Be thankful, and I do. And then I'll use the hides. I got the raccoon hide over here. My other raccoon hide, I'm tanning out. So I got them stretched. We had to leave. We just come up from down from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We actually run an Indian village in Kissimmee, Florida, doing ancient tribes. So everything's being made by hand, from cordage to the hides, everything. I'm doing a 9-foot alligator. I skinned him out before we left, and right now I buried the carcass. I'm getting all the bones. I'll make arrow points, scrapers, spear points, perforators, you name it, everything out of that one alligator, and that would be one whole display. The hide, I'm going to do moccasins, a breastplate. When we fought with the Calusa, those scoots, every bump on his back is a bone. So that would be for protection. You can put that on your chest, kind of like your Comanches use the breastplates on the plains. That was coyote rib bone and antelope leg bone. Later on, we started using African hair pipe. So if you see these gentlemen here, the traditional dancers that are wearing the breastplates, really fine beads, those are actually trade beads from Africa. They wouldn't be something that we would have used indigenously, brought over and used. So now we get into the Mississippian time period. Clay pottery also came into effect. The plaque over there are all original artifacts, going from your hand tools all the way to the right. Those are your cooking utensils, your kitchen tools of the time. Your knives, your meat slicers. Also one that has a serrated edge cut into the bone. Get that marrow out of there. That's a good source of protein in there. Absolutely, and they are sharp. We have a chert, which is what you would find down in Florida, a Florida fieldstone. Agatized coral would also be something that would be used, and also the trade system. Believe it or not, all the way down into the tip of Florida amongst your Calusa, they did trade with your mound people that were here. All your mound building or Mississippian cultures went from here all the way up into the Great Lakes. Copper you can find right in here. Came from the Great Lakes of the north. You go down into Calusa territory, you'll also find copper. Any metal that I'm wearing on here would only be copper. Other than that, nothing. Everything that I'm wearing is actually traditional, all the way down to what I'm wearing up underneath. Traditional. Loincloth. She said festival friendly. Put a wrap on. Nobody come over and talk to you. So I put the wrap on there. You have a lot of good stuff over there, but they're doing a whole different time period. They go into what we see right here, which would be your Spanish Inquisition, your British influence. By the time they came into here, this culture was already broke apart. It was already broken apart. I believe it had to do with resources. You use your resources up, you got to move, you got to go. And so they started to spread out. Where other mountain cultures were still thriving, this one right here had already broke up by that time. As a matter of fact, they did have a trading post and so on that was right here on the mountain site. A lot of history really right in this area here. And if you go into the museum, they have a little area. Did you go to the museum?
Oh yeah.
We come here with the greatest and utmost respect because we're representing them. And man, I tell you, we start praying from the time we pull in till the time we're here. And we're one of the very few that are able to stay on the grounds at night because of our setup, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll stay here, we'll set up, we'll work into the night until we're asked to go to bed. And so we go to bed and we'll get back up in the morning and we'll start working again. So that's your whole journey going through. Really, it all happened right here. They have the Paleo Trail. The village was set up right over here. Yeah. But man, I enjoy doing what I do. We also have the evolution of cooking ash, oldest method known to man. We have cooking with stones, cooking on stones, and then eventually pottery. The pottery shards in that plaque there are about 4,000 years old. And different patterns that are on there as well. Different examples are right up in here.
Quite a setup.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, let them know here at Ocmulgee. We'd like to come back again next year.
Oh yeah,
Impressive.
definitely.
Nice meeting you.
My pleasure. Little Big Mountain. What's going on? Oh, we're La Piroya.
Okay.
They call me Little.
A little. All right. I can handle that.
All right, there you go.
People, we have over 200 rural communities throughout the state. Many of these rural communities are not connected by any kind of road system. So in a lot of these communities, we don't have local grocery stores. We still live off the land and sea and harvest the same animals and plants and berries and we still make traditional food and we still make city from religious development. This song is about 100 degrees.
Small bags or one large?
I don't know. What do you
Large
want?
is 9, small is 5.
I don't know. Whatever you want. I don't care. It's up to you. I don't think I want that red stuff. That's probably hot sauce.
Probably something like strawberry or something. They don't have any big bag of
Thank you.
caramel corn. They just got 2 small.
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
It's right there, honey.
This bag over here, that ain't caramel corn?
No, that's just kettle corn.
That's all they sell is kettle corn.
No, they've got caramel corn right there.
Nachos and cheese.
You just have the small bags in the caramel, right?
Yes,
Okay.
You want to throw them in there or what? I'll just be your beast of burden.
That's right.
Tote your load for you.
And if you want to, instead of going through everybody, you can go right through there and go through the cars.